Welcome back to the channel. Today we're taking you inside the daily life of King Charles III. From his finely tuned morning routines to the detailed roles within his household, the new monarch's day-to-day is anything but ordinary. We'll explore some of the more unusual tasks performed by his royal staff and dive into the centuries-old traditions that continue under King Charles's rule. Whether it's the perfectly measured inch of toothpaste, his cherished royal piper, or his precisely arranged shoelaces, each detail is meticulously handled by the dedicated royal staff. So grab a seat as we uncover the fascinating and sometimes surprising rituals that make up the life of a modern king. Charles III of the United Kingdom, pronounced Charles III, full name Charles Philip Arthur George, born on November 14, 1948, is the King of the United Kingdom and Northern Ireland, as well as of 14 other Commonwealth realms. He is the eldest son of the late Queen Elizabeth II and the late Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. Charles became the oldest individual to ascend to the British throne following the passing of his mother, Queen Elizabeth II, on September 8, 2022. Charles was born at Buckingham Palace, making him the first grandchild of King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon. He was educated at Cheam School and Gordonstown, later attending Timbertop, a branch of Geelong Grammar School in Victoria, Australia. After graduating from the University of Cambridge with a Bachelor of Arts degree, he served in the Royal Navy from 1971 to 1976. Charles's personal life and relationships have often been the subject of tabloid scrutiny. In 1981, he married Diana Spencer, with whom he had two sons, Prince William, born in 1982, and Prince Harry, born in 1984. The couple separated in 1992, and their divorce was finalized in 1996 amid a series of publicized infidelity scandals. Tragically, Diana died in a car accident in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel in Paris, France in 1997. In 2005, Charles married his longtime companion, Camilla Shand, who became the Queen Consort of the United Kingdom. When Charles ascended to the throne, King Charles III has long been nicknamed the Pampered Prince of Wales, a title that reflects his well-known reliance on household staff, a dependence that was noticeable even before he ascended the throne. This relationship with his staff has only deepened since he became king, and many of the roles within his household are dedicated to fulfilling highly specific and sometimes extraordinary requests. Fans and critics alike have often marveled at these unique traditions, debating whether they reflect unnecessary luxury or simply a continuation of royal custom. One of the more intriguing roles in King Charles's household is the Grand Carver of England. This historic position, held by a trusted noble, dates back centuries and is rooted in royal tradition. Currently, the title belongs to the Earl of Denbigh and Desmond, whose main responsibility is to carve and serve meat to the royal family during banquets and formal events. Each slice must meet strict standards in length and thickness, preserving the precision that royal customs demand. Many roles within the royal household, such as the Grand Carver of England, the Royal Piper, and the Flag Sergeant, have roots tracing back centuries. For example, the position of Grand Carver dates to medieval times, when a noble's precision in slicing and serving food at royal feasts represented honor and respect for the monarch. These roles weren't just about service. They reflected the profound reverence surrounding the crown and were seen as symbols of loyalty and tradition. Today, they continue to serve as ceremonial links to Britain's rich history, reminding both the monarchy and the public of the long-standing customs that define royal life. While some may view this role as extravagant, fans of royal traditions appreciate the artistry and formality of the Grand Carver's duties, seeing it as a link to Britain's storied past. This unique role has sparked mixed reactions among royal watchers. On one hand, fans of tradition celebrate the Grand Carver's presence, with one royal enthusiast on Twitter commenting, "The Grand Carver of England is a beautiful nod to centuries of history. Only in Britain could you find something this fascinatingly unique." Many see this role as emblematic of the British monarchy's reverence for tradition, with posts applauding how the position has been preserved through generations. Others, however, question its relevance in today's world. Public reactions to King Charles's routines and the traditional roles within his household vary widely. Many fans of the monarchy see these long-standing customs as a unique part of British heritage, with one admirer noting, "These rituals are a living piece of history. Where else but in Britain could we find such timeless traditions?" Others, however, question the practicality of preserving roles like the Grand Carver and insist on updating royal customs to better reflect modern values. A critic recently voiced on social media, "In today's world, why do we still have such roles? If the monarchy is to remain relevant, perhaps it's time to evolve these practices." These contrasting viewpoints highlight a larger conversation around the monarchy's balance between honoring history and adapting to current societal expectations. One user on a popular discussion forum voiced skepticism, writing, "Why does a modern monarchy need a grand carver? Surely King Charles can live without a ceremonial meat slicer." Similar sentiments can be found across social media, where comments range from lighthearted jokes to calls for modernizing the monarchy by phasing out certain ceremonial positions. Another social media user put it bluntly, "A grand carver seems more like a royal indulgence than a necessity in today's age." In addition to such historical roles, King Charles has specific standards for the food prepared by his staff. Like many people, he has distinct preferences for food quality and taste, and his staff must adhere strictly to these requirements. Unlike most people, King Charles III doesn't have to prepare his own meals, a fact that may not surprise many given his status. However, his dining requests certainly add a layer of intrigue to his routine. According to a royal insider, he insists that biscuits or cookies be warmed to a specific temperature before he'll eat them. If his staff doesn't meet this requirement, he simply won't touch the treat. Consequently, his staff has a warming pan ready at all times to ensure any biscuit he desires is quickly heated to his preferred temperature. Notably, the king's daily eating habits are quite minimal, as he typically has only a light breakfast and one main meal, without a lunch. Beyond these personal dining preferences, King Charles is known for his particular requirements for state banquets and official dinners. While his individual standards are exacting, his expectations for these grand events are even higher. As shared by Graham Tinsley, MBE and former manager of the Welsh culinary team, the king imposes strict guidelines on banquet menus. For instance, chocolate, coffee, and garlic are strictly off-limits at these gatherings, requiring staff to be highly attentive in curating each dish to align with the king's tastes. Graham Tinsley noted that one of King Charles's specific dining preferences includes a salad made with coddled egg. For those unfamiliar, a coddled egg is gently cooked in a small dish that's placed in a hot water bath, somewhat like poaching, but without the egg touching the water directly. During royal banquets, the king also has precise requests for his green tea, insisting that loose tea leaves be brewed at no less than 70 degrees Celsius. Other requirements during these events remain undisclosed, though a notable feature at his place setting is a silver container of Malden sea salt, a favorite of his that always signals his seat. In another instance, a video surfaced online capturing a moment where King Charles appeared visibly frustrated with his staff for not clearing his desk promptly. The footage, which circulated widely on social media, showed him gesturing to his staff, signaling for them to clear the space. The video highlights his expectation for his workspace to be in perfect order, as he motioned for them to remove an item from his desk so he could continue working without interruption. As the video spread across social media, reactions quickly polarized. Many users criticized King Charles for what they perceived as an outburst of impatience, suggesting that his conduct fell short of the respect expected from a monarch. Comments flooded Twitter, with one viewer remarking, "The king's attitude toward his staff in this video is disappointing. Surely he could show a bit more patience." Another user expressed frustration, noting, "Seeing a leader treat people with so little appreciation is hard to overlook. Royalty should lead by example." The incident sparked a broader discussion on privilege within the monarchy. Some observers argued that Charles's actions underscored the disconnect that can exist between royals and the general public. This video reminds us just how accustomed to privilege they really are. It's a different world, one user wrote, with others echoing the sentiment that the monarchy should better reflect modern values, including respect for all roles within the household. However, there was also strong support from royal enthusiasts who were quick to defend the king. Many pointed out that managing the delicate details of royal life is a high-stress job, where precision and efficiency are paramount. It's a simple mistake in a formal setting, and the king had a lot on his mind. Anyone would be annoyed, one supporter noted. Another fan sympathized, adding, "People need to remember that King Charles was probably feeling the weight of his new responsibilities. Let's cut him some slack." In response to the controversy, the palace released a subtle statement emphasizing the king's commitment to his role and his appreciation for the hard work of royal staff. This effort to ease public concern, however, has not silenced all critics. The video remains a contentious point for many, especially those who feel that the royals' public behavior should align with values of humility and respect. King Charles's morning routine is another example of the patience his staff must maintain. Unlike King Charles III, Queen Elizabeth II was known for a more understated approach to her daily routine. Although she had a dedicated staff, she reportedly maintained a certain level of independence, particularly in her day-to-day activities, which many viewed as a reflection of her modest character. Fans of the late Queen have often admired her simplicity, contrasting it with Charles's more meticulous expectations. While Charles relies on his staff for precise details, from ironing his shoelaces to preparing his toothpaste in exact measurements, Elizabeth's preferences were said to be more adaptable, embodying a quieter, less demanding approach. This difference highlights how royal routines evolve with each monarch, as Charles's detailed lifestyle introduces a new era that some see as a symbol of his unique personality. His particular demands aren't limited to dining. They extend throughout his daily habits, adding layers of detail to his schedule that can test his staff's endurance. As Paul Burrell, a former butler for Princess Diana and King Charles, notes, the king's expectations, while sometimes puzzling, are non-negotiable. His team is simply expected to fulfill them, regardless of practicality. The king has a specific morning routine he likes to follow, and according to Burrell, his staff must meticulously prepare everything down to the smallest details. For instance, his dressing towels need to be arranged in a precise way each day, and his pajamas are pressed every morning, along with his shoelaces. Yes, even his shoelaces must be ironed. Though it might sound extreme, a request from the king must be respected, no matter how unusual it may seem. Additionally, the royal bath plug must be positioned at a particular angle and direction daily, and the staff ensures that exactly 1 inch of toothpaste is squeezed onto his toothbrush each morning. This precision is essential. If it isn't exactly 1 inch, he won't use it. Moreover, working for King Charles III comes without a job guarantee. No matter the dedication or quality of service, staff members can be dismissed at a moment's notice. Although he relies heavily on his team, the king is known for his strict rules and high standards, expecting his staff to adhere closely to his protocols. After King Charles assumed the throne following Queen Elizabeth II's passing, more than 90 members of his staff were reportedly dismissed without prior warning. According to The Guardian, some of those let go had served as long-term staff for the former Prince of Wales. News of these sudden layoffs created considerable anxiety among the remaining staff, who feared for the security of their own positions. In response to the controversy, the king's personal assistant explained that King Charles was adapting to the responsibilities of his new role as head of the British monarchy. Do you think this is a valid reason for laying off nearly 100 employees? Let us know in the comments. Beyond his precise morning routines and staff expectations, King Charles also holds deep respect for royal traditions. For instance, he requires the royal horological conservators to set every clock throughout the royal estates with exacting accuracy. As a monarch who values tradition, King Charles sees it as essential that his team honors the long-standing practices within the royal family. There are approximately 1,500 royal clocks across various royal properties, and it's the job of the royal conservators to ensure each one is set accurately. They work alongside the royal collection team and are responsible for setting 450 timepieces at Windsor Castle, 600 at Buckingham Palace, and 50 at the Palace of Holyrood House. The royal collection includes some of the most exquisite historic clocks in existence, many of which are on display for visitors at Windsor Castle and Holyrood House. These timepieces showcase centuries of mechanical innovation and reflect the tastes of successive monarchs. Among the 1,500 clocks are musical clocks, astronomical clocks, miniature clocks, and turret clocks, each requiring specialized skills to maintain, a task not everyone is qualified for. Horological conservators for the royal family earn a substantial salary, estimated to be around $50,000, and are expected to work a minimum of 37.5 hours per week. In addition to these unique roles, King Charles also has a royal astronomer. This position, which dates back to its creation by King Charles II, was initially tasked with mapping the night sky for navigational purposes, a duty that continues to evolve within the royal household. King Charles II appointed John Flamsteed as the first royal astronomer, one of the most renowned astronomers of his era, who served in this position from 1675 to 1720. Flamsteed was instrumental in advancing the Royal Observatory and provided the royal family with invaluable insights into astronomy, drawing on his extensive knowledge. Since Flamsteed's time, many royal astronomers have advised various British monarchs, including King Charles III, whose current royal astronomer is Martin Rees, Baron of Ludlow. Today, the role is largely honorary, with the royal astronomer offering guidance on astronomical matters as needed. This prestigious position comes with a traditional stipend of £100 per year, and the Astronomer Royal remains an esteemed member of the royal household. Another long-standing tradition in the royal family is the role of the royal piper, who has the unique duty of waking the king each morning by playing the bagpipes outside his window. This custom, known as the piper to the sovereign, began with Queen Victoria over a century ago and has been upheld ever since. Each morning at 9 a.m., the royal piper plays for 15 minutes, acting as a human alarm clock for the monarch. Pipe Major Paul Burns was the last piper for the late Queen Elizabeth II, concluding his duties by performing Sleep Dearie Sleep at her funeral in Westminster Abbey last year. King Charles has entrusted Piper Major Burns with the honor of continuing his piping for the new monarch, a role he began back in October 2022. While Burns plays as part of a long-standing royal tradition, it's worth noting that the king doesn't actually use the bagpipes as an alarm. He's usually awake well before 9 a.m. Additionally, King Charles upholds a strict set of standards for the staff residing in Buckingham Palace. Working for the royal family is already a demanding job, and with King Charles it's even more challenging. He has personal codes and expectations that he firmly adheres to and expects his staff to follow just as strictly. These detailed protocols are non-negotiable, and staff must be familiar not only with the king's specific preferences but also with those of the entire royal family. As demanding as it sounds, each staff member must serve not just one royal figure, but the whole family, making this position as intense as one might imagine. Royal staff are therefore expected to carry out their duties with exceptional attention to detail. This role demands a high level of dedication, as Buckingham Palace not only serves as the king's official residence but also houses various essential offices, such as those of private secretaries, government liaisons, and media officers. Media officers, in particular, play a crucial role in managing the king's public image and working to avoid potential scandals, a task that seems increasingly challenging for those living and working at the palace. A key rule these residents must observe is the long-standing no pets rule, originally put in place by the late Queen Elizabeth, despite her well-known love for dogs. While this restriction was widely criticized by the public, King Charles has chosen to uphold it, even though he has 2 dogs of his own. For the staff residing in Buckingham Palace, pets are strictly prohibited. Interestingly, while Queen Elizabeth II was famous for her beloved corgis, she chose to uphold the no pets rule within Buckingham Palace's staff quarters. Many found it surprising that someone so fond of dogs would maintain such a restriction, but it was reportedly intended to ensure a consistent and orderly environment within the palace. Her personal affection for animals was well known, yet she prioritized royal protocols, a practice King Charles has chosen to continue despite his own fondness for animals. This subtle difference between personal preference and public duty provides insight into the discipline and values that define royal life. Another traditional role within the royal household is the position of the King's Flag Sergeant. This role, held by a member of the British military, is filled by a non-commissioned officer from the Household Division Brigade and is part of the Master's Household Department. Currently, King Charles's Flag Sergeant, Lance Sergeant Oliver Morton, took on the role in 2022 following Charles's accession to the throne. His primary responsibility, as required by royal custom, is to raise or lower the royal standard at Buckingham Palace when the king is in residence and to fly the Union flag when he is not. The various flags used at Buckingham Palace are stored in the office of the Royal Flag Sergeant, who also dispatches royal standards to locations the king will be visiting, both within and outside the United Kingdom. Additionally, he manages certain courier duties for the Palace Post Office and assists in other delegated tasks. Thanks for joining us for a glimpse into the unique roles and routines that keep Buckingham Palace running smoothly under King Charles III. It's clear that being part of the royal family, especially as its head, comes with an extraordinary level of attention to detail and care. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Does any of this surprise you? Leave a comment below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights into the world's most iconic family. Until next time, stay tuned and stay curious.